Hey Team Eagles, Miss Sabo here. Everybody see me? Say hello. I'm here to talk to you about the math that you're going to be doing this week to finish up your scale drawing project. So if you remember when we were together the last time, we determined that our classroom was 24 feet by 36 feet. So 24 feet wide by 36 feet long, or 24 feet long by 36 feet wide, whichever way you look at it. So we knew that we had to go ahead and scale that down to an 8.5 by 11 inch piece of paper. So to scale that down or divide that down proportionally, we had to take a look at the common factors that 24 and 36 would both be divisible by. So we took a look at 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 12. And it was your group's task last week to go ahead and determine, or the week before last, to go ahead and determine which of those factors would create the best drawing for your project. So some of you did that through ratio tables, but a proportion was a whole lot more quick and efficient in order to get that done. So the way that we did that was we took a look at a ratio of 24 feet by 36 feet, which was the actual dimensions of the class. And let's say we took a look at a factor of 3. So we divided each of those by a factor of 3. So 24 by 3 and 36 by 3. 24 divided by 3 is 8. 36 feet divided by 3 is 12. So what that told us was the size that our drawing could be if we converted that to inches proportionally. So what we say here is that our drawing would be 8 inches by 12 inches if we used a scale factor of 3. And what we mean by a scale factor of 3 is that every inch is equal to 3 feet. So every single one of these 8 inches is equal to 3 feet. 8 times 3 giving us 24. So the factor is going to tell us the scale that we used. So here would be another example. If we use an actual value or an actual distance of 24 feet over 36 feet and we divide by a factor of 6, 24 divided by 6 is 4, 36 divided by 6 is 6. That would give us a 4-inch by 6-inch drawing. So you could use inches, you could use centimeters if you want, but it's up to your group to decide which of those scales is going to give you the best quadrilateral for your picture. So we're looking for what's going to give us the most area in fitting on the size of our paper. So you had to work with that. A lot of you came up with a scale. Now, one scale that we know isn't going to work that well is a scale factor of 6, because you can see it's only going to be a 4-inch by 6-inch drawing. That's not going to be very good or very big for us. But I'm going to go ahead and use that as an example and just pretend that that's the scale that we're using. So we would have a 4-inch by 6-inch drawing because we've divided by a factor of 6. So if we divide by a factor of 6, that means that for every inch, it's equal to 6 feet in my drawing. That becomes my rule. That's the equation that I'm following, or the rule that I'm following for the rest of my drawing. So many of you have already gotten to this point. So what your job is going to be for the rest of the week is to make sure that you go ahead and finish the entire inside of your classroom. So if my scale is 1 inch is equal to 6 feet, I have to apply that rule to every area of the classroom. So let's say, for example, hold up, drop my pencil. Let's say, for example, hello, that I had decided that we're going to have a tech area. Well, what you're going to have to do is actually get up in the classroom and decide, where do I want that tech area to be? So once I decide that, I need to decide how big I want that tech area to be. So let's say that I decide that I want that tech area to be 12 feet by 6 feet. Notice I also used dimensions that were also divisible by 6. So I apply my scale to that, divide each of those by 6. 12 divided by 6 is 2. 6 divided by 6 is 1. So that tells me that I need to draw my tech area 2 inches by 1 inch inside my classroom. So I'm going to draw that, and then I'm going to label it tech area. So I know that that's my tech area. Let's say I wanted to create a quiet area. Well, I don't want that quiet area to be quite as big. So let's say I want that quiet area to only be 6 feet by 3 feet. Well, now, if I divide each of those by 6, I come up with 1 inch by 1/2 of an inch. That's okay. I can draw 1/2 of an inch. It just means that my quiet area on my paper is going to be very small, but I still need to go ahead and label that quiet area. So you're going to do that for all 5 areas of your classroom that you've researched. The tricky part is going to be making sure that you apply that scale to every single one of those 5 areas and making sure that you have enough space to create all 5 areas within that classroom. So if you pay attention to how much space you're using, like 12 feet out of the amount of space I have is going to make a pretty big area for that tech area. But you don't want to use up more space than what you have. So you're not just looking at the dimensions you have, but you're looking at the total area that you have. How do you find area? Well, you take your 24 feet by your 36 feet, and that's going to give you your total area when you multiply that. So if I look at the area in my drawing, I know that I'm working with 6 inches by 4 inches. So I have 24 total inches of area. So far I've used 2 inches by 1 inch here. So I'm good to go. So lots of things that you have to think about, but you see how much work I have done. I expect that when I look at the inside of your folders, I'm able to look at the inside of your folders very organized like this and tell how you came up with the scale for your classroom and how you applied that scale to every single one of your areas. What I don't want to see is a whole bunch of scattered paper with work. I want to see where you all have worked together to apply that scale to each of your areas in an organized way on the inside of your folder. So when you have your drawing, make sure your drawing is neat and make sure that everything is labeled for us to be able to see. And then we'll move on to the next part later in the week. Any questions, go ahead and send me an email you can't send me an email today, but you can send me during class. Don't send me an email, but you can send me an email later. And Miss Lassiter is there to make sure that you are being productive and having all your questions answered as well. Be good, be productive, be respectful, be quiet, and we'll see you later.